Hello there, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be coloring this super cute stamp set called Kirby and LuLu's Wash Day from Tonic Studios. I'm also going to be using my Nuvo Alcohol Markers to color this image. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to be coloring this cute little kitty in a hat. We're going to be coloring her orange, and I'm going to be using 391, 389, 393, and for some shadows I'm going to be using 461 and 465. We're going to start with our orangey colors, so I'm going to start with my 393. That's going to be the darkest color. And we're going to create that stripy look going all around the cat. So we want to come right above the eyes, and I'm just going to make like little flicks or little streaks going all the way down. So, and then I want to make one right above the nose, coming all the way down around the face. And then for the body, we're going to make the little stripes going along the back on both sides. So it's going to be a little wider right here, and I'm just going to kind of come in a little bit more. So it's going to get a little bit pointier. Same thing over here. It's going to be wider and then get narrow, like little triangles. And on the inside parts of the paws, the arms. And we'll make a couple little stripes on the back leg over here, and also going along the tail. So now I'm going to take my next darkest color, which is my 391. And I'm just going to make these lines a little bit thicker. So I'm just going over, kind of blending out that darker color, thickening up those stripes. Same thing over here. So I'm just going to pull this color in a little bit. And I'm still going in like this dotted motion, so that way when I lay down my next color, it lays in between those lines that we've just left there that are kind of white, and it will help blend out that color a little bit better. You still want to leave some white there on the tail so we have a nice highlight. So now I'm going to take my lightest color, the 389, and we're just going to go one swipe over, kind of just filling in the rest of the area. So this time we're going to go over the entire image, filling it in. You want to go over the lines that we created with the darker colors so it kind of blends out a little bit. I'm going to go back and add another shade of them so we can put that definition back in there. So I'm going to start with the area where I have color down first so I can get a good blend on those colors that we've laid down. And then I'll continue filling in the rest of the cat. So now we're going to go back and we're going to add some shadows using some of those browns. So I'm going to start with the darkest one, so 465. We're going to add a couple of shadows where they would normally be. We're going to kind of just forget the fact that we even added those stripes. So we're going to add a little bit of a shadow directly underneath the hat, underneath the cat's face, and coming down the side of his body just slightly, just so it kind of rounds out, and also right in between the paws onto his tummy, her tummy, and then right behind the leg here and over here and the tail. So it looks like it's wrapping around. So those are our darkest points. Now I'm going to take the next lighter color brown, the 461, and I'm just going to come down a little bit more, blending out that shadow. So now we don't want it to really be a brown color, we want it to be more of an orangey color so it matches the cat. So we're going to get back out that darker color, the 393. And I'm going to go directly over the brown And now I'm going to take my next lighter color, the 391. And again, I'm going to push that color down just a little bit, just to have a nice, smooth, a little bit of a better blend. Really want to make that hat look like it's coming over the little kitty's face. I'm just going to smooth this out. Now we're going to go back and repeat the darkest orange, the 393, so we can get back those lines that we've kind of lost here in the shadow. So I'm going to go back and do a couple little flicks so that way I can add that shadow back in there of those stripes. And then again with my 391. And now we're going to take the lightest orange, that 389, and again we're going to just kind of start right at the edge where we just left off. So that way we still have that nice highlight where we first laid down the lighter color. But just give a couple little flicks or little dots here and there just to blend it out and add a little bit better of a transition between the two colors. And I like to do kind of the dots and when I'm coloring something that's furry, so that way you can get a little bit more of a textured look to your little critter that you're coloring. Okay, we're almost finished. I'm going to go back with the lightest brown, the 461, and now I'm going to add a little bit more texture to that darker, the stripes with that darker orange. So you can either dot or you can do a couple of little flicks, but I'm just going to add a couple little dots going around just in those areas where we have those orange little stripes. Gives it a little bit more texture. And then let's just add a little bit more of 391, the medium orange color, just to give it a little more softened up look. And then I'm also going to very lightly add a couple more dots in between onto the lightest orange. So that way it has more of that furry-like texture. So I'm going over the brown, just adding some dots, blending it out a little. And then I'm going to add a little bit of dots into the lighter part. All right, and there's our kitty, super cute. I'm going to go ahead and color the inside of her ear using the 449. And then I'm going to color the hat purple. So I'm going to be using 439 and 437. I'm going to start with my 439, which is the darkest color, and just add a little bit of a shadow right underneath the flowers and right along that edge where the hat's curling, and also up here and behind the ear and behind the flowers up there. And then we're going to take our 437 fill it in. So I always like to get a nice blend on the color that I have laying down first. So as you notice, I'm going back and forth in that particular area before I go back and just do the one swipe over. So that way that part right there stays a little bit lighter. So now I'm going to color the flowers yellow. So I'm using 401, 403, and 405. I'm going to start with my 405 and add a little dot in the center. And I'm actually going to skip the 403 right now since the flowers are a little bit smaller, and I'm just going to fill in with my 401. And then if you want a little bit more of a contrast, you can take that light brown that we were using earlier, that 461, add a little dot in the center there so that way it has a little bit more of the center part of the flower. And then I'm going to take that same yellow color combination and we're going to color this butterfly over here. So I'm taking that wasn't it, 405. And right in there, we're going to add a little bit of that color, and then we're going to take the 403 and then the 401. Now let's get a little bit more of a contrast. I'm going to take that brown, that 461, and add a little bit of a shadow, and then I'm going to go back with my 405 and blend this out. So I'm going over the brown completely, pulling out some of the color, so that way I have a little bit more of a two-tone in that shadow. Okay, so let's go ahead and color that little stripe on the hat pink. So I'm using my 451. And again, I'm going to take that brown so I can get a little bit more of a contrast and get a shadow right where the hat is kind of tilting over. And then I'm going to go back with my 451 over the brown so it can pull through, replacing kind of the brown with the pink, so that way you have a little bit more of a shadow there. So for the little leaves, there's little tiny leaves right behind those flowers. I'm going to be using 413 and 417. I'm going to start with my 417 and just stay right behind the flower. So it's just a little bit of color, and then we're going to pull it through with the 413. And then for this butterfly over here, we're going to be coloring that one pink. So let's take out that 451 and 449. I'm going to start with my 451 and stay in those shadowed areas. So right where these little lines are in the center of the wings. And then I'm going to take my 449 and pull it through. Let's get a little bit more definition by adding that brown, that 461. And then I'm going to go back with my 451. Blending out some of that brown, deepening up that pink, so that way we have a little bit more of a contrast. And then back again with my 449. Okay, so back with that 461. I'm going to fill in the body all the way of the butterfly. And then let's go back with that darker of the brown, 465. And just on the part closest to the wings, I'm just going to kind of outline the image just so there's a little bit more of a contrast. So right here I'm going to stay on the outline of the image here and here. So that way there's just a little bit definition, making it look like he has a round body. Now I'm going to color my little kitty's nose pink, so I'm going to use my 451. Okay, so now we want to kind of ground the kitty, so we don't want her to be just floating in the center of the card. So we're going to add a little bit of a ground. For that, we're going to be using the 473 and 475. I'm going to start with my 475. And directly underneath her and coming up off to the side a little. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow, so directly underneath her and coming out on the side a little bit. And you want to come up the body just a little bit because you don't want it just at the very tip of her body, because she's not just going to be hovering right there over the ground. And then we're going to take the lighter of the colors, the 473, and I'm just going to pull that color out a little. And I'm going to be adding a little bit of, I'm seeing if it's crooked, so let me see. Take my 473 again. There we go. And now let's go back with those two green colors that we used up there, and we're just gonna create some very simple grass. So I'm gonna start with my darker color, my 417, and just make a couple little flicks here and there. You want to make sure you go over the image slightly because she's sitting in the grass, so it's going to kind of come around her. So I'm just adding just a little. And then I'm going to take the lighter of the two colors, the 413, and go back through and add just a few more strokes, just so you have a little bit of a different color tone. Maybe that one was a little too high. So let's add a little leaf on it. And do the same thing over here. There we go. Maybe another one over here. And let's take that darker one again. Let's give a little bit of definition to that leaf. And then we'll go back with our 413, just soften it up a little. And let's take some 401 and just add a couple little dots. Maybe it looks like little flowers. All right, so we are ready for our card assembly. Okay, so here's my finished card. I went ahead and stamped the cute little sentiment on there, and I mounted it on some of this apricot orange tonic cardstock. And now I want to show you how to add a little bit of decoration using some Nuvo drops. So since we colored his little nose pink, I didn't add that much detail to it. I didn't want to shadow it or anything because I wanted to take my pink Nuvo drops and just go over the nose just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a shine. Trying to be very careful so it doesn't come out too quickly. So there we go. It's gonna show up just a little bit. Looks really cute. Gives it a little bit of a gloss and some shine because it has some glitter on it. And this color is, what color? Summer Sunrise. So it's very, very soft, subtle. It's like a blush color. It's really pretty. And then I'm going to be taking my plum pudding and adding just some little enamel dots for some embellishment. So, nope, that came out a little. So we're going to add a little dot here. Let's make it a little bit bigger since kind of came out too much. Then I'll add another one here. And we'll give another one up here. So it just adds a little fun to your card. You could go crazy with this stuff. So I think that is good. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. Have a great day.